Okay, so this is the second part of the video. In the first part, I told you that what were the challenges that I was facing. My father got sick. I was the eldest. I was doing unpaid internship or house job. In India, it's called internship. In Pakistan, it's called house job. Uh, and it was not paid. I was doing 16 hours, sometimes 24 hours duty in the hospital, and it was totally unpaid. I couldn't even cover my expenses. I was getting it from my home, and my father got suddenly sick. So these were the situations I was in. And no one in the family is from a medical background or a doctor who could understand my situation. So I was on my own, and yeah, I was relentlessly applying here and there, everywhere, LinkedIn, going to institutions, applying and throwing out my CV. And even they didn't posted any vacancy, but still I was going there and visiting them just to have them that they get my CV and put them in my records, that if in the future there is any seat available, they consider me. So yeah, I mean, this is what you do when you're struggling, when you're going through so much issues and you don't see a way out. You just keep digging, you keep trying. And I think if I wasn't in those difficult situations, if I didn't had those problems at that time, I wouldn't be here today talking to you and sharing my journey. I mean, so these dark periods, these difficult times, the main crux of it, that these difficult times give you an opportunity, and it gives you an opportunity to become a new person, something you are not, and something it polishes you basically, and even makes you stronger for future journey. So I mean, I wouldn't say these were the difficult times or problems or burdens. I would say these were the opportunities that were given to me, and now I am here sharing my journey on Instagram, on YouTube. So yeah, I'm grateful for it now when I look it back. So yeah, coming back to that journey, as I mentioned in the part one, I was applying and just got a call from MedIQ. MedIQ is a telemedicine company, and they called me up. I just went there, barging into their office for an interview, and without knowing what's gonna happen next. So they had a good office, like something from a startup office with high ceilings and glass doors and everything, tiled floors. So it was a good impression on me. Not like a typical hospital environment, so very modern, I would say. There were other people also working there, some doctors, some people from the finance department, from the auditor's office. There was a CEO also in another office. So, and it was the manager who received me and took me to a room where he sat me down, offered me tea, and then prepared me for the interview. So he was the one who was taking the interview. So he just asked me that, "Are you willing for it?" I said, "Yeah, I'm definitely." So these are the things that usually the people want, that whether you can do it or not. So I didn't know that how will I manage my hospital hours with this job. I mean, you all know about the internship, you all know about the house job, how difficult the working hours are there. But I just say yes to everything, whatever he said. I didn't even know what were the timings, because I was desperate. I mean, I needed money. Yeah. So, and they said, okay, we will offer you 60K. And this is, I'm talking about in 2022, you know. So I was already getting nothing. So yeah, I mean, 60K was good. It was at least enough for me to travel, one from one place to another. So yeah, and I just said yes, definitely, without thinking. And they said the working hours will be 8 hours. I said, okay, done. So they said, and there might be nights or evenings or morning. I said, okay, done. So so I mean, this was the situation I was in, and yeah, I mean, I would say I'm grateful for it, but you have to be like that. At some point, there are periods where you cannot think, and you just have to step in. You just say have to yes. The opportunities, the ways are presented to you by God. I mean, He then puts away all the hurdles that you feel that there are certain barriers. Oh, I cannot do that, I cannot do that. But first, you have to travel down that path. You have to walk on that path. You have to at least start walking. When you start walking on that path, the path appears very clearly in front of you. All the barriers, they go away. So you have to say yes to the things, even if you don't know what's going to happen next or whether you will be able to pull off. But you have to start it. But you have to make the journey. You have to start walking. You have to say yes to it. You have to grab that opportunity. Don't think about how will I manage or what will happen to me. These are the things that these are the devil things, I would say, that corrupts your mind to not able, so you are not able to take that step. You have to leave these things that you are not fully sure of it. You have to just leave these things to God, and that's what happened. I mean, I said yes to everything. I didn't know what was going to happen next, and I went back after that interview. It was a good interview, so they said that they will train me for 1 week just to know, so I get what kind of job it is. I said okay, done. So yeah, I after the interview I went to the hospital where my duty was about to start, and it was a 12-hour duty. And the next day, without even getting enough sleep, I went to that MedIQ office. I trained with them. So I went there for a few hours. They just told me the workings. They sat me with another doctor, and he told me how the workings will happen. So basically, it was a telemedicine company. You have to take video consultations. You have to visit. Sometimes you get notifications while you are working in MedIQ that you have to visit someone in a place, someone in home to see the patient. So home visits I would get. Sometimes there are guests in an hotel, in a 4 or 5 star hotel, that would request me to come and visit and check the guests who are having any sort of diseases, or having fever, or any tick bites, or having an allergic reaction, things like that. So yeah, I would go there, and it was exciting, honestly, and it was new concept also back then, telemedicine, video consultation. And also I would also overlook the management of the labs and payment method. So I would make sure, okay, the payment is done by the patient or the patient's family, online payments. I would also check that whether the lab team has reached that place where they have to collect the sample from the home. I would also check whether the testings are done properly. So I had multiple roles in that position. So yeah, I mean, I was not just a telemedicine doctor. So I was also learning the management part, the operations part. These are the things that are very important in everywhere, in wherever you go in life. If you are also overlooking some management, some project, some work in the corporate sector or in the startup, where you are not just consulting with the patient, but you are also looking the overall operations. Okay, everything is going smoothly, the teams have reached on time, the testing teams have reached to the patient on time, the results we have gotten the results on time, the payment has been done on time, and everything is aligned. These are the things that are part of management. So I was getting that experience also, and it was a great experience. And yeah, I mean, I think it was quite a journey, but it was very difficult in terms of managing that work-life balance. You say that work-life balance. I didn't have any work-life balance. It was it was a very difficult time. I was working at two places, and not getting enough sleep. So this went about like 4 to 6 months, and even during that period, that difficult time where I was not getting enough sleep, just 2 3 hours, I was sleeping in the office. Sometimes I was sleeping in the car. Sometimes I would be eating from outside. Not sometimes, almost all of the time, because I was barely at home. I was doing 12 hours duty plus 8 hours. So I would just try to get some vacations, some weekends off from the hospital. Then I would get some vacations, or I would ask for to give me a day off from the office, just to manage both of these jobs. I mean, anyone who is doing two jobs, they know how difficult it is. It is now very common message that people are doing two jobs. But yeah, I mean, doing house job and then doing another 8 hour job is very harsh. So, but I mean, it was not impossible. It was not impossible. Okay, I didn't know how I pulled it off, but it was not impossible. It was possible. You just have to be willing, to the. But I knew also that it wasn't sustainable. I mean, it's very difficult. I mean, you can do it for a few months, but you can't do this type of routine for a whole year. So, but I was so that was in my mind always, that this difficult time won't last for long, and God is very merciful. He will find a way for me that I wouldn't expect, and it will be the best opportunity for me, that it would be more than what I have asked for, even wished for. So yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what happened. I worked there for few months, for 4 to 6 months. Worked my uh, not swearing. So I worked really, really hard, and it was a difficult time. But I knew it that it won't last long. Now, during this difficult time, I even also availed an opportunity. I was given an opportunity that there was a nearby clinic that a person is running, and can you manage it? I mean, it's a new clinic, so you have to hire some nurses, do the marketing, and in the community. I said, okay, I even say yes to that. So they were paying me just 20,000 for 2 to 3 hours of visiting that clinic, and also marketing it, and also hiring process. So I was getting 20,000 from that. So technically, in those 6 months or 5 months, I was doing three jobs. So I was working in a clinic, I was doing house job, working in a clinic for 2 3 hours, doing house job, and also I was working in MedIQ company, which is a telemedicine company. And so you can imagine what time I had to sleep or whatever to do. I mean, it was hellish. It was hellish. Uh, but somehow there was some part of me that was also enjoying it, because I had this strong belief that this is the darkest it could get. It cannot go darker than that. Okay, so, and there is an opportunity right in the corner. I don't know what it is, but I know I will get it, because this is the most difficult time. How difficult can it be? I'm already doing three jobs. I mean, and yeah, and but I was wrong. So I during shuffling between three jobs and running here and there, I was met with an accident, and it was a very bad accident. Yeah, I mean, I was getting sleepless. I mean, all the time I was all the time tired. I mean, I don't know, that was the reason. I'm not sure, but it was a difficult time. I met with a severe accident. I even lost that picture of my car. I took it 2 3 years back in 2022. My car flipped over, and you can imagine how bad that accident was. My car flipped over, and people pulled me out. Miraculously, by the grace of God, there was not even a minor injury, and but the car was totally destroyed, totally totaled. Not to the point of that it couldn't be recovered, but very much destroyed. Its gearbox was destroyed. Anyone who know about cars, they understand what I'm talking about. If the gearbox is damaged. So yeah. So what happened? That all my savings, all the jobs that I was doing, all my savings went into repairing into that car. So all the three jobs that I was doing for 6 months, all that savings I had, not much, but I would say I had 80 90,000, all went into the car. Plus, I got into debt. You know, I had to borrow money to repair that car. And during that time, I was shuffling between three jobs also. I was hailing bikes, doing that cream Uber drives, and also I was managing expenses, and I got into debt. I was borrowing money to bear my expenses, and also to repair that car. I was literally borrowing money. And this was the lowest point. I mean, how low can you go? You worked three jobs, you worked so hard, sleepless nights, and in the end, all that savings, all that money just went down the drain. You had an accident, your car was totaled. You are now riding on bikes, on Uber bikes, and just to go to places to get your jobs, and all the money that is you're earning is going into the car, or you are paying off debts to other people that you have borrowed from money from. So I mean, this was the worst. Even my family, even just, it happens. I know that they just, I didn't say they disowned me. They just said that what are you doing with your life? I mean, you just started earning. You were able to cover your expenses, and you had some savings. Now you're again dependent on us. So that was a very difficult time, and this was, I would say, the worst period of my life. And yeah, I mean, how low can you go? I mean, uh, what's the worst that can happen? So yeah, I mean, the part three of that journey I will be explaining in the next video. But this was the whole background of my journey. So the crux of is that you keep going, and you don't give up. But at this point, I'm at the lowest point. I'm borrowing money instead of uh, giving money to my family, or able to save some money after doing three jobs. So I mean, life is very unexpected. You can never know what can happen next. Um, I will be explaining that after that period, after this dark time, what happened. So I think this needs a separate video for it. And in the part three, I will be just wrapping up all my journey, shifting from clinicals to non-clinical.